Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Town Show. Now I know a lot of you love this game, I am really into it right now, so let's continue investigating Elizabeth's death and we'll see what else we're up to. So we need to go back to see Washington right now, because apparently, who was it? Somebody said that Washington had something to do with it. Was that suspicious about something. So we'll see about that. Is this him?
President George Washington.
Yeah. Oh, hey. So I know I've already been to see him, and I have no effort points, which does not help matters. This is not a laughing matter. And I really do love this game, but it's really good. Okay, can't open that. God damn it. I really thought I'd be able to open that. I want stuff. I need stuff.
Greetings, Lee.
Greetings. Right.
Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes, she came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Did she tell you why she was so desperate to get some, Mr. President?
She said she had terrible migraines that wouldn't go away.
More likely for the voices she heard, not the migraines.
Okay, that's weird.
Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her.
Yes, Lord Mortimer has a talent for healing, apparently. I'm not
Does he
surprised
now?
Sir Gregory advised her to come.
Agreed. I shan't keep you any longer, Mr. President.
Feel free, Louis. If there's anything I can do, just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Right. I don't think it's him. I don't think it's Emily. It could be Napoleon. I need to go see Napoleon. And then. So. He's the one with the gun missing. But it was a knife that killed Elizabeth. So we found that out already.
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal
Not
Piaggi.
him. This one?
Huh, that's me.
Oh, it's him. Huh, okay. It's not good when you don't know where your room is. Who's this?
Duke Manuel Godoy.
Where is he? Manuel Godoy.
Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Wow, something happened there. I like spasmed out for a second. So I don't need to go see Emily right now.
Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte.
Okay, him. He's suspicious. I just want to know who told. I personally think Elizabeth told herself because she couldn't take the voices in her head any longer. I don't think anybody did it, to be honest. But that's what Sherlock Holmes, little light here, has to do to find out. Right, where is he? There he is. So, is there anything here that I missed last time? Did I read this? I don't remember.
My dearest son.
Yeah, I did. I got another question.
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
As any good soldier would, I imagine you own a firearm. May I see it?
Oh, well, if you really want to, here is my pistol. Don't worry, it is not loaded.
Do you have several of these?
In Corsica, oui, but not on me when I am traveling.
Ah,
Only
okay.
a bandit would carry such an arsenal.
Like Arthur
Thank you.
Modern. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
have we finished, monsieur?
Exactly. Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Okay, so guys, it's not him either. I don't think it's him either. Right. So Washington, Emily, Napoleon are cleared, I think.
So Jacques Perru?
I'm not sure about him, but I don't think it was him either. Jack. Right, so let's go downstairs.
Quorum guide.
Oh god, we are spazzing them out really badly recently in this game. Right, let's go up and tell Mortimer what we've seen. That's all I really got, so I didn't really do it anymore. I got a lot about the body last episode. I asked Emily, Jen Spice, the girl I know who's really, really nice to me. She said, why did you go with Emily and not Elizabeth? Elizabeth needed you. Emily's hotter. I'm sorry, Jen, but Emily is really hot. Who can resist her? If you were die, you'd understand.
Which four-letter word could open this?
What the hell happened there? I have no clue what I'm spelling.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Perru. You remember how violently
Yeah, I
he set
did.
upon
I
Miss
talked to him already.
Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
I already spoke to him, though. Oh god, okay, I'm doing it. Bunt. Mortimer, I need to talk to you. Mortimer. Hello.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Oh hey. So do I have a culprit? I don't really have a culprit.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night,
Got that.
but Piaggi was with Holmendai until late at night.
Okay, so
As
it's
for
not him.
Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis? All right then. Please think carefully before you give me your answer. This is a very, very serious accusation.
It's not. It's one of the male deaths. Oh god. Okay, so it's not Piaggi. Walner maybe. It's not Perua. Walner. Want me to say Walner? Because I hint it's him. He's acting really suspicious.
It's Volner.
What proof do you have against him?
He did try to squeeze information out of me about Adams.
Just as any worthy guest would do. Have you anything else?
No, I think that's enough to accuse him.
It's a bit light, but I shall speak to Gregory about it, and compare your findings with other information. Given the distinguished guests and the political issues involved at the conference, I trust you will leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She isn't missing, you know.
What? What do you mean?
My mother has left traces in every nook and cranny of your island, my lord.
Yeah, she's
definitely here. Now, what worries me most is why she doesn't show herself.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's
Tell me,
activities and
Gleefhead.
yours in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the cannon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How
Okay.
did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
And I convinced
see.
them to give me it.
So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first.
Oh,
Our
let
friend
him off,
Napoleon
arsehole.
desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Did my mother intend to finance a war? I'm not sure that I follow.
No, your mother's aim was not so much to partake in a war, but rather to make Monsieur Bonaparte accountable.
Oh.
France is in turmoil,
To blame him.
and having support of a military man can often come in handy, Louis. You'll see. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference.
What
It
kind
will
of
be
project?
presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play. And I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
What's the project?
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
I don't trust him enough.
If only my mother had trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order,
Very.
secrets are her bread and
Very.
butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears.
If
There's something I
she
still don't get.
reappears.
In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Maybe she found something out.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
My mother has a gift for investigating. If she had picked up a lead, nothing would have stopped her.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed.
In what way?
At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord.
Yeah. Were you
What
intimate?
did you talk about together?
We used to intimate.
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject.
Oh, I bet you did.
We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jassy, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
The armistice between the Russians and the Turks. Russia's come out of it having officially won Crimea, which gives it direct access to the Black Sea.
And, at the same time, the Mediterranean Sea.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
worried about the decisions Tsarina Catherine might decide to take. She's a woman who managed to get rid of her husband to accede to the upper reaches of
Blackmail.
power. Gaining access to the Mediterranean Sea remains her main objective. When she still had that dear Potemkin as her lover, I
Potemkin?
could always find out about her intentions, but those days are over.
You're speaking of Grigory Alexandrovich Potemkin?
The very man. The little devil behind the mother of all Russians.
Wow.
Since his
okay.
death, I know absolutely nothing of what the Tsarina is up to.
Oh, really?
Ah, yes. I didn't mean to shock you. Please forgive me. Let's just say that, in my position, it is often advantageous to know about the habits and customs of world leaders.
Is it now?
I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Yeah, she loves
Are
that.
you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades
too
are
are
also
up
my
to some.
subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn. Your mother is a very well-read woman.
Thank you.
You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Elizabeth.
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen.
You've seen her too?
Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma.
Oh.
Emily Hillsborough's
That's who
twin
we've
sister.
seen in the vision.
And she shot her with a pistol. Then,
That's who we
before
see.
Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
I don't trust you.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
Yeah, tell me that.
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Ah.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
One last thing, although I don't know if there is a connection.
I'm listening.
A gate was forced the other night near the wharf. Nothing serious, just a few
Oh,
small
that
things
was me.
damaged.
That was me. I'm sorry to say that was me.
Sorry, my lord, but I was searching for leads to my mother. I thought I was hot on her trail and didn't take any precautions.
Well, you could have reported it to a servant. But never mind. I shall put it down to your ardor and anxiety. However, please try to respect my estate in future.
I
Alright.
certainly will. Please accept my sincerest apologies.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the
Did I?
meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
Is it Manuel Dedoy that's the last
The
S?
room was just opposite Mortimer's study.
Okay, so we'll do that now. So, guys, I think Mortimer was involved with my mother somehow. See if he turns out to be my dad or something, I think I'll cry. But he's spooky as shit. I think he had something to do with Elizabeth's death as well. Where am I going? Oh, opposite Mortimer's study. I thought Mortimer's study was up that way.
President George Washington.
What the hell am I doing? I don't belong.
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi.
I don't really trust Piaggi either. I don't know why, even though he's a cardinal, like, nah, I'm just not sure of people right now. Okay, that was really where I thought I did go. Obviously not. But I'm a tree. I'm a window. That song's up in my head, as you can probably hear me singing it right now. But it's very catchy. That is locked now. Go to the tower room. Mortimer's study. I don't know whose room this is, but we'll do it. Is this where I need to go? Ah, this is where I need to go. Look at this.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Why are all these paintings fucked up? All of these paintings are fucked up.
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
They're all very fucked up though.
What is this disc?
A disc? Where? Yeah, we'll take it. Lodestone. Okay. I don't know what that means, but we'll do it.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise
What?
your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Nice. I just made more of them.
There are burnt papers in the chimney.
Somebody's tried to hide evidence.
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my
It's
mother's
my mother.
handwriting. She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust
man
in
with
my
a
faith
sword.
in the man with the sword. So mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be?
Mortimer.
Who could she be suspicious of?
Emily?
I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Faith and sword. Ah, shit. She says you must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is on to us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So a man with a sword do we need to look for? Is he in here? Wait a minute, this guy's got a sword.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus
Yeah.
by Caravaggio.
Yeah, I did that. Okay, so tamper that.
The door appears to be locked on the other side.
A T. Oh.
I
Aha.
think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor.
Use
Let's
this.
see if it works.
Yeah. How did that work? How the fuck did that work? Just tell me, how the hell did
It's
that
open.
work? There's got to be an important clue in here. No one leaves a door locked from the other side. Ever.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Pliny. looks like
Guido
someone
Rennie.
touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Ah. Okay. So you don't know, but
It's St. John, painted by Guido Rennie.
okay, so he doesn't have a sword.
The New Testament.
Okay, I had no idea. Analyze it.
This book is incredibly precious. I believe this is the book my mother referred to when calling upon the Lord.
Okay.
A volume of the Gutenberg Bible. Even as it is meet for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds. And in defense and confirmation of the gospel, ye all are partakers of my grace.
Okay. No idea what that means, but I'm sure we'll find out. That's... is that not creepy to you? It's like Rolf Harris.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Rennie. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Is that maybe Faith?
The chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Yeah. And you?
St. Paul painted by Guido Rennie.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword.
Ah.
Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Sorry, guys.
So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11.
Okay.
But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Paul. But it has to do with 11. Is that first 11? Yeah, first 11.
There is none that understandeth. There is none that seeketh after God. Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Rennie.
Right.
Amber.
That was awfully serious sounding. Right, so I looked at this here, but I'm just gonna...
I guess I'll just come back later.
I'll still need to look at this again.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. Of the 4 apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle.
Alright, so 13th apostle. There's not a 13 though.
I guess I'll just come back later. St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
Oh, that's why it's St. Paul. I'm at St. Mark. That makes sense. Oh, there's not a St. Paul. Yeah.
Then they suborned men, which said, "We have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and against God." St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? There is none that understandeth. There is none that seeketh after God. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh wait, a note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say? Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the 2 groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
The youngest one, probably. This one?
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. What was it my mother said? That she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle. Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the 2nd day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Okay.
St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle. Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer. On the 2nd day, the pilgrims listened to the prophecy of the young apostle. The prophecy of the young apostle, that was John. And the prophecy mentioned is most likely the book of Revelations according to St. John. On the 2nd day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Maybe
Paul painted by Guido Reni. There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
There's something behind this one.
There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all. No, nothing of value here.
Aye. Worth a try.
Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew.
Ah. Hebrew. And what one you see?
There's nothing worth noticing here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
Okay.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Try not burn them out.
They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies?
Right, so maybe he was talking to them.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St.
No,
Paul is
I got
shown
this.
holding a
Ah.
sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean?
Right, so John, he's John, right?
It's St. John,
Yeah.
painted by Guido Reni.
Okay, so John, then I got an 8.
Now, there is a Jerusalem by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us.
Okay.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Okay,
But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. Here's a message.
aha.
There are some complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's say tomorrow evening, in the South Room, where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left. in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Yeah, this last comment is about their code.
Near Paul.
I should find new pilgrims near Paul.
Paul. There's no hint for pilgrims, so.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance. Hey, there's a note here. A message from Mother in reply to E. We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message. What happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare. What does she mean by that? Clearly she
it's
must be trying
lateral.
to do something useful, but what? Nightmare. Does that remind me of anything?
Nightmare. Place,
It
maybe?
must surely speak of a place. Granting that this is the case, where might it be found?
Maybe outside?
I thought it would have been over there, but something's telling me that it isn't. I better keep searching. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
Right guys, I'm going to end it there, and in the next episode we will do and see what Mortimer is up to. See you there guys. Leave a like and I will get back to you and tell me what you thought as well. Bye guys.